Hey Canucks fans, the Canucks have set their roster for the opening of the 2024-2025 season. We're going to break it all down. The biggest name or the biggest news, I guess, is Aatu Raty has indeed made this team. Now, in previous years, the roster that you declare on opening day of the season, so basically you have to declare it today because the games start tomorrow, except for those weird ones that were overseas. But the roster that you set on the opening day might not be the same as your opening night roster or your first game roster, so to speak, because like the Vancouver Canucks, they don't play until Wednesday, and today is Monday, and you can still make kind of changes to your roster before your first game. And we would call those basically paper transactions. But this year, I think it's going to be the same. I don't think they're going to make any significant changes to the roster before Wednesday night. So let's break it all down. The announcement was this, that the Canucks have made these following roster moves today. Going to Abbotsford, assigned to Abbotsford, forward Arshdeep Bains, defenseman Eric Brandstrom, who did clear waivers, traded from the Colorado Avalanche for Tucker Pullman yesterday, and goalie Jiri Patera, assigned to Abbotsford, doesn't have to clear waivers. Long story short, once we lost him to Boston, because Boston claimed him from off of waivers before they re-signed Jeremy Swayman, the fact that we took him back and the fact that no other team put a claim on Patera this time, only because of that, he does not have to clear waivers again to get down to Abbotsford. So all to say, Jiri Patera, because no one else put a claim on him this time, back from Boston. We hardly knew you. Now we're going to get to know you, Jiri Patera. Patera back in the Canucks organization. So Bains, Brandstrom, and Patera going down to Abbotsford. Dakota Joshua, and Thatcher Demko, no surprise, placed on the opening season injured non-roster. So what that means is they're on IR, not LTIR, because IR is only miss a minimum of 7 days. LTIR is miss a minimum of 24 days and 10 games. But we're not even in the season yet, so you don't have to put anyone on LTIR if you think that there's a chance that they're going to come back. And the rumors we heard from Friedman and Drager today was that both Joshua and Demko are 3 to 4 weeks out. Now, I like to take them at their word that they're indeed 3 or 4 weeks away from returning, but that also could be a way of just getting them to the precipice of where you go from IR to LTIR, and then you might have to put those guys on LTIR retroactively and then lose your cap space accrual that we've been talking about the past couple of days. But for now, Joshua and Demko will be on our roster as non-active though. So what that means is the Canucks, with the trade of Tucker Pullman yesterday, can ice in a full roster of 23 players, active roster, and then also have Demko and Joshua counting towards that. So they don't count towards the 23 active, but their salaries do count because they're in regular IR. As soon as you go to LTIR, then of course they still don't count as roster spots, and then you don't have to count their money either. But that's not what we're trying to do here. So that's not what the Canucks are trying to do here. So the Canucks basically are going to have 13 forwards, 8 defensemen, and 2 goalies. That makes up your 23, and that doesn't include, of course, Demko and Joshua. So I'm presuming Conor Garland is healthy. Let's just, for our purposes, let's say that Conor Garland is healthy. So the 13 forwards then are Pettersson, Miller, Besser, DeBrusk, Garland, Heinen, Bluger, Suter, Sherwood, Hoglander, Sprong, Niels Zaman, and Aatu Raty. So those are the 13 forwards. That doesn't include Joshua. The 8 defensemen are the big 6, Hughes, Hronek, Susie Myers, Forbert Desharnais, and both Juleson and Friedman. So there's your 8 defensemen. So 13 forwards, 8 defensemen, that makes 21, and your 2 goalies, Artur Shilovs and Kevin Lankinen, that makes 23. So 13 forwards, 8 defensemen, 2 goalies, 23, plus Dakota Joshua, plus Thatcher Demko. Add it all up, and it comes to $87.5 million. So they're under the cap by $500,000, all made possible by that Tucker Pullman trade yesterday. That's why the timing was so important that they were able to make that trade yesterday, because now they can have a full 23-man roster plus these 2 guys, and you're still under the salary cap. You can start to accrue cap space because you're not in using long-term injury reserve. And this is a place that the Canucks haven't been in the past few seasons. They've always been dipping into long-term injury reserve. And then when you do that, you actually want to get as close to the cap as you can. And the Canucks have been able to do that for a couple of years. And then Tucker Pullman has been on LTIR for the past 2 years. Now, if they didn't make that Pullman trade, that's the $2 million of savings, right? They would have had to have basically an active roster of only 21 players, and then Pullman, Joshua, and Demko. So 21 players is a little risky because if 2 of them are goalies, now you only have 19 skaters and 18 play, right? 12 forwards and 6 defensemen. So that would have meant room for only 1 extra skater on the roster. And that is cutting it close. But because of the Pullman deal, now they have 3 extras. And most teams have 3 extras, right? They either have 2 forwards and 1 D. And in the Canucks case, they have 1 forward and 2 defensemen. The extra forward, well, it could be Garland if he's hurt tomorrow. And if on Wednesday, and if it's not Garland, it'll be one of Aman, probably Niels Aman or Aatu Raty will be the extra skater. And then Juleson and Friedman will be the healthy scratches on D. So all to say, you guys, a good day for the Vancouver Canucks, a really good day for Aatu Raty, who looks like he's made the team. If Connor Garland doesn't go on Wednesday, it looks like Raty will center the third line of Niels Hoglander and someone. It was Sherwood on Friday night. It was Pia Suter at practice yesterday. And then that would leave a fourth line of Bluger, Sherwood, and Oman. And again, if Garland's not healthy, like I said, the Canucks have no extra forwards. If Garland is healthy, then you do have an extra forward and 2 extra D-man. Again, Dakota, Joshua, Thatcher, Demko on the roster. Their salary counts towards the salary cap because they're on regular injured reserve. We'll see in 3 to 4 weeks if they end up putting them on long-term injury reserve retroactively. So Canucks fans, let me know your thoughts on this roster. In particular, are you surprised? Because I made this point in my live stream last night. Friedman, Ratu, Alman, and Bains all make the same amount of money, all between 800 and 850 grand. So the cap savings doesn't make a difference between those 4 guys. Are you surprised that it's actually Bains that gets sent down despite a promising preseason and training camp, and that Mark Friedman stays up? Or are you fine with it being 1 forward and 2 defensemen? And are you fine that it's Bains going down? Are you surprised and are you happy that Ratu made it? Do you wish that Niels Aman was the one that got set down? And I guess the last thing I should say is Niels Aman and Mark Friedman, you'd have to expose them to waivers first to get them to Abbotsford. So was there a small chance that another team was going to pick up one of Niels Aman or Mark Friedman? That's why they stay on the team. And because Arshdeep Bains is not waiver eligible, neither is Aatu Raty. Those are the 2 guys that are easier to pass, up and down from Abbotsford. So I think those must be some of the things that the Canucks were considering in making their final roster decisions. But all to say, Aatu Raty makes the team, Arshdeep Bains doesn't. And I believe that the roster that they declared today for the opening of the season will be the same roster that we see on Wednesday night. The only question is Connor Garland going to be part of the actual lineup that plays on Wednesday night against Calgary? So Canucks fans, let me know your thoughts on the roster down below in the comments. I'd love to read, react, and reply as always. And don't forget to join me and Parker at 10 p.m. for Canucks After Dark, and then my own show for 11:15 p.m. No games tonight. We're going to talk about this roster stuff tonight on my stream. 24-hour live stream coming up on Saturday. Going to start to announce guests throughout the week. I'm so excited. I hope you can make plans to join me for that as well. Shout out to my sponsors, Van City Experts Real Estate, Coach Patrick Liu, weight loss coach. Thank you, legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Andrew Chang, Hall of Fame and franchise members. And thanks to all of you for watching, liking, subscribing. On your way out, make sure you subscribe, like the video. You can leave a donation, become a member, upgrade your membership. And if you're listening, I almost got mixed up. I thought I was doing a live stream for a second. And definitely leave a comment down below your thoughts on Arshdeep Bains being sent down, Aatu Raty making the team seemingly. Let me know. Would love to read, react, and reply as always. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. God bless, and go Canucks go.